We're going to change subjects now. We're going to get to some fermented foods. Check out our first guest.
Food fermentation is all around us, in the food we know and the food we enjoy. In fact, the primary benefit of fermentation is the conversion of sugars and other carbohydrates into preservative organic acids. Sounds confusing, but here's some examples. Converting juice into wine, grains into beer, and sugars in vegetables. Ask any modern-day health enthusiast, and they'll agree that food fermentation is the way to go.
We welcome our guest this morning, Sascha Kalivoda, who is joining us this morning on set with some goodies to show off as well, too. Food fermentation is a scary word. Fermentation means something like it's rotten, but it's not rotten.
It's true. People are afraid of this, and this is why I have a major mission. It's to bring wisdom back into the kitchen, to bring it to become a place again of nourishment, but also just natural medicine that's naturally found in your food, rather than taking pills or extra supplements and things like that. So I brought today a few different things fermented. I have a SCOBY here. A lot of people are very afraid of kombucha because of this guy in here. This is a little, or girl, this mama here. This is the culture that you put into some sweet tea, some sugar and tea, and you put the culture in there with some liquid from the last batch to make your next batch of kombucha. And it's a beautiful fermented beverage that what I do afterwards is I have these bottles here that are airtight, and you can put all sorts of flavoring in there.
Just hold it up to the camera right there.
So right here, it looks like beer, but it's actually another fermented beverage, but it's not. It's an emptier beer bottle. But I've got some ginger in there, and I usually do ginger lemon, ginger lime, ginger rose hip, ginger I do all sorts of different, not always ginger, but I do all sorts of different flavors. And it's fun, and it's delicious, it's bubbly. I have to actually watch how much my son drinks of it because he loves it so much. And you know, you can't have too much. So I watch how much he drinks of it. So that's one thing that I love and I always have on hand. I have sauerkraut as well too. So this is some carrots, some beets, and some cabbage that I fermented in a crock like this. So
this looks familiar. My grandmother had a whole bunch of these sitting around. Yeah.
So now you have these new really funky ones that have these water seals and these lids, and the air can't get in, and but the gases can escape through the water. This is old school. I inherited this from my mother-in-law. So I have one probably almost as mid-size that I actually get into. A couple of them I actually get in there and stomp. Nice. Like every fall we have sauerkraut Sunday in my house, and we are making a whole bunch of sauerkraut. And this is so important for not only for nourishment, but for sources of, it was my parents' vitamin C in the wintertime in Eastern Europe. It provides you with tons of bacteria. We know now that we are 90% bacteria, 10% human. So we have to replenish that, and we have to make sure that we have the right balance of good to pathogenic bacteria in the gut. It's important for our brains, it's important for our digestion, it's important for our moods, it's important for our immune system. 80% of our immune system is right here in our gut, and our bacterial balance has a huge role in that. So if it's off, then we get sick, or we are susceptible to infections, things like that. I have one more thing here. Maybe you want to dig through that and see. That's those are milk kefir grains.
I'm sorry, they're what again?
Milk kefir grains. So that's a form of, you just can ferment milk with that. All you do is you see they're kind of slimy looking little bits of cauliflower.
Looks like cauliflower,
yeah. Looks like, yeah, try chewing it though. You're not going to get very far with that. It's pretty.
So what is this for?
So what you do is you just put that into a jar like this mason jar right here, 1 liter mason jar. You put those grains in there and you fill it up with milk, and then you put something breathable over top of it, and you leave it for 24 hours. And then you've got kefir, and that's what I use as the major base of all my smoothies. And I also do whipping cream with that and make this creme fraiche that was so amazing. And I make ice cream out of it. So you have fermented ice cream, you have creme fraiche with all your meals. Oh yeah, so delicious, delicious, delicious. And the kefir every day, because I get a runny nose if I were to just drink that regular milk. But I ferment it into kefir, and then I can drink as much as I want. So a lot of people with milk intolerances and allergies, they could ferment it, and then it becomes a lot more nutritious for them and a lot more digestible as well too.
Interesting.
So,
we do have a video question lined up for you. Take a look.
Hi, my name's Jade. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta. My question for your guest today is, what are fermented foods and why should I be interested in them?
Well, you mentioned a little bit why we should be interested in them, but give us an idea of what some examples
So fermented
are.
foods. So this is the big thing. I'm trying to encourage people to eat something fermented a little bit every day. So you have a lot of choices. You can drink some kombucha, you can have some kefir, you can have some sauerkraut, pickles, just regular pickles that have been fermented with salt, not with vinegar But so I also make pickles at home, just salt and water. That's all you need to do. So that is also a source of probiotics, good bacteria. Miso, yogurt, good quality yogurts. There's a lot of poor quality yogurts out there, so good quality yogurt. You don't need all these extra things added into it. Kimchi, Korean sauerkraut, right? Really common. A lot of people really like it.
Does cottage cheese fall into there as well?
Cottage cheese, well, the cheeses are fermented as well too. So you're getting your cheeses as well too. So you're getting that, and then you get the whey, which you can actually, if you make your own cheese, you can separate out the whey, and you can use that as to inoculate different things. Like I've made a fermented mayonnaise and a fermented, like all our condiments used to be fermented as well too. So if you inoculate them with the whey from say making your kefir, then you can make fermented other things, fruit roll-ups, all sorts of different things.
So you're feeling healthier, you're feeling more alive, full of energy.
It changes your skin.
Does it really? It changes everything.
So here's a quick little factoid. During the American Civil War, there was one doctor, I don't know his name, but he changed the death rate from smallpox for the Civil War prisoners. It was from 90% down to 5%, and all he did was add sauerkraut into their diet. He didn't change anything else. Raw sauerkraut. Make sure it's raw. You don't want to cook it because then you kill the good bacteria. But it's powerful. It changes everything.
Something really special happens when you ferment things. Something comes alive, right? And that's what makes it so beneficial for us. I probably maybe consume too many fermented, salty, briny, delicious things. You know, when I was thinking about some items that we could bring today that were fermented, I mean, the grocery store's full of them, right? Everything from cured meats to cheeses to honey wine to beer, right? All of those things. Yeah, so some fermented things aren't so beneficial for you.
A little bit of wine's okay. A little bit of meat. I've made some meat as well too. Very tasty, tasty. So fermented wine, not wine, honey.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just everywhere, and it just is, and pre-digests the food, so it's also easier for the body to uptake it. So there's a lot of digestive issues these days. It's a big deal.
The good news is we have you for the whole hour, so we're going to tap into your information here too. Sascha, it's great having you on panel this morning.
Thank
you
you
very much for sharing as well too.